Last week was a very interesting week of college football. So I'm not only going to cover my two games, I'm also going to look at some of the other games. Specifically, Texas A&M versus Ole Miss. Georgia faces off against Ole Miss next week, and they just barely scraped by against Texas A&M. I think it was thanks to a blocked kick. Notre Dame gets upset by Clemson, which sounds so weird, but it makes sense if you've been watching this year. Um, Air Force ends their undefeated season by losing to Army. Tennessee murdered UConn. Florida State struggled against Pitt, but they've been struggling against a lot of unranked teams recently. Um, Washington defeated USC by 10, a very big offensive game. Alabama handled LSU in the second half. And Oklahoma State wins maybe their final rivalry game in the foreseeable future against Oklahoma. But, as usual, we're going to cover the UGA game. Stackhouse has key late pick as number 1 Georgia holds off number 14 Missouri 30-21. Georgia coach Kirby Smart called defensive tackle Nazir Stackhouse's improbable interception the biggest play of the game. Wide receiver Lab McConkey proclaimed it was the play of the year. So, ranked number 2 Georgia defeated ranked 12 Missouri 30-21. Georgia mainly won because of their amazing third quarter performance and their 2 turnovers in the second half. They were favored to win the entire game. They had 22 more total yards than Missouri and 2 less turnovers, as Missouri had 2 in the second half and Georgia had 0 the entire game. Same amount of first downs, but Georgia kind of dominated the time of possession. The attendance was 100%. Well, actually, I'm not even that surprised, at all. So let's look at Mizzou's stats first. Brady Cook, 14 of 30 for 212 yards, a touchdown, and 2 interceptions. Not great, but most of the incompletions and interceptions came in the second half. Just wasn't a great showing offensively at that point. Can't really blame him, though. You're against Georgia's defense. It's hard to stay consistently good. Next, you've got Cody Schrader, who was actually good against Georgia. I know, rare. 22 carries for 112 yards. He had 5 yards per carry and a touchdown. Brady Cook ran 10 times for 19. One thing I will say Georgia team has struggled against in the past few years is running quarterbacks. And we do way better against running backs than quarterbacks. Receiving, the top receiver, Luther Burden, 3 for 53 and a touchdown. Pretty sure he got injured, which could have definitely limited his stats. Theo Weiss, 5 for 90, for a long of 33, while Burden had 139 yards touchdown. Kind of dominated his stats with the other 2. Without that, it's 2 for 14. Mookie Cooper, 2 for 32. Makai Miller, 1 for 3. And Cody Schrader, 3 for 14. They never fumbled or recovered any fumbles. Tyron Hooper had 10 tackles. And Missouri as a team had 3 sacks and 5 tackles for loss and 5 passes defense. Not a terrible defensive performance. You just want to see turnovers. Next, let's get to the dogs. Carson Beck, 21 of 32, 254 yards. Not his highest yards performance, but definitely very efficient. 2 touchdowns, and Dijah Networks, 16 for 77. He has become Georgia's premier back, which I know he's good for Georgia's fine starting. Give him the carries he deserves. Kendall Milton had 9 for 44 and a touchdown. Beck, I'm pretty sure a good amount of steals. And Rock Rangers had 1 a little bit of time. And still now. Lab McConkey had another great game, stepping up for Brock Bowers' absence. 7 for 95. And Georgia's constantly putting up 30 points or more without Brock Bowers. So I just want to tell you guys, their offense is the real deal. Rara Thomas and Oscar Delbo had 3 catches for over 30 yards. Delb scored a touchdown. Dominic Lovett got revenge TD against his former team, the Missouri Tigers. Edwards also had 2 for 28. Jack Samuels both had catches. 18 and 11 yards respectively. Dumbo did fumble a punt. No, I think it was a kickoff once, but he recovered it. Smile Munden, Dumas Johnson, and Tyke Smith all had 7 tackles. So ended up injured. Hopefully he's alright. Sacks. Only 3 total for the Dogs. 4 tackles for loss and 4 passes defense. Which doesn't seem as good as Missouri's until you see the 2 interceptions, 1 returned by 44 yards. You sure? Well, it got held back. And 1 interception game winning by Javon Book. Tom Users and Dylan Bowe were both great returners, having long returns for over 30 yards. And Woodring hit his longest field goal of the season for 48. My final thoughts on this game is that the Dogs, even though you couldn't completely blow out Missouri, they definitely handled them in the second half, and they played a really complete game. You have to admit, they put up points in every quarter. Just want to clean up that slow start first quarter, and hopefully we can do the same, if not better, against Missouri. Final game I'll be completely reviewing today is Kansas State against Texas. There's no like overview, so that's kind of. But Texas came out to a 17-7 lead at halftime. The Kansas State puts up 16 in the fourth quarter to bring it to overtime, where Texas wins because of an overtime kick. And Kansas State questions. Kansas State was actually seems to be favored to win at some points overtime. It looks like. So yeah, that they ended up. Kansas was dominated in total yards. Had 108 less than Texas, but had 1 less turnover and 2 more first downs while losing time of possession. Hopefully this video isn't too long. Nothing over like it's cool. Will Howard, 26 for 41 for 327 yards, 4 touchdowns and 1 interception. No run game from Kansas State. Treshaun Ward and DJ Giddens both did not accurate with longs of under 10 yards. Like 29 carries for 40 yards. Actually, does that count for like sacks from Will Howard? I don't know. Anyway, J.C. Brown, maybe Jace, I don't know. 4 for 77 and a touchdown. Phillip Brooks, 5 for 76 and 2 touchdowns. Keegan Johnson had 7 for 70 and a touchdown as well. Bill Benson did not score but had 69 yards. DJ Giddens 3 for 23 and Treshaun Ward 2 receptions for 12 yards. Couple fumbles on both sides of the ball. Will Howard fumbled and lost his fumble, probably from a strip sack. Jacob Parrish fumbled but did not end up losing it. And Will Lee had 1 fumbled recovery. He also had the most tackles on his team, along with the most solo tackles. No sacks for Kansas State. I keep seeing teams do this. I'm like, how do you have 0 sacks in the game? 3 tackles for loss and 6 passes defense. 2 interceptions by Jacob Parrish. So great defensive performance for him. 9 he missed the field goal, so that's a lot. A lot. Texas. Malik Murphy. Also want to mention that they won without Quinn Ewers. Yeah. Was not very good. Malik Murphy wasn't. 19 of 37 for 248, 1 touchdown and 2 picks. Jonathan Brooks was 22 carries for 112 yards, a great game from him. CJ Baxter was a beast, 10 for 90 and a touchdown. Saverworthy and Jaden Blue also had a few carries, and Keelan Robinson. What was Savion Red doing to lose 7 yards? That's my question. Adonai Mitchell, former Bulldog, 8 for 149 and a touchdown. Jaden Worthy also had a pretty good game, 5 for 48. Sterling Whittington, 3 for 23. Ja'Tavion Sanders, 2 for 21. And Jonte Cook, 1 for 7. 1 fumble lost by Jonathan Brooks, though that's pretty bad. Savion Red fumbled as 7-yard loss. And Jalen Ford recovered a fumble off of Kansas State. Most tackles were by Jalen Ford and Ryan Watts. They had a nice game with 4 sacks, 2 by Baron Sorrell and 2 by Burke. 8 tackles for loss is great as well, and passes. Interceptions, 1 by Matt Goltafe. Taff? 4 kicks, 149 yards for Burr Arbor. He did pretty great. My final thoughts on this game. I would just kick the field goal. This is for the Big 12. You can't go for it there. Texas barely escapes. Stays in number 7 in the rankings, as I recall. And it's a pretty good win, especially since you don't have the QB. You just need to not be the opposite selection like that. They have pretty easy schedule, just don't blow it, and you have an easy Big 12 championship match. Since that was y'all like last real challenge of the season. But yeah, what do you guys think about the games this week? And do you think there's something I should have covered instead of the Texas game? I chose to cover it because I don't cover Big 12 much. So like, I don't cover Oklahoma last week. I think I did. Maybe I should keep doing stuff like this. See you guys next time. And we did hit under 13 minutes. That's pretty cool.